Welcome to Concrete Block, the podcast where we break down the latest news and current events. Andy Burnham, the former mayor of Greater Manchester, has ruled out calling an early general election if he becomes the next prime minister. This announcement comes after his victory in the Makerfield by-election, which paved the way for him to potentially succeed current Prime Minister Keir Starmer. As we explore this story, it's essential to consider the context. Keir Starmer, who has been facing criticism and pressure from within his own party, has resigned as Labour leader. In a recent interview, Starmer reflected on his time as Prime Minister, stating that he has been successful in his role and has saved the Labour Party from potential demise. However, he also acknowledged that his successor will face significant global challenges, emphasizing that international diplomacy and domestic affairs are intricately linked. Burnham's decision not to call an early election has sparked debate among politicians and pundits alike. Some argue that this move will provide stability and allow the new government to focus on pressing issues like the cost of living and public services. Others contend that it may be seen as a missed opportunity to capitalize on the current momentum and secure a stronger mandate. As we continue to follow this developing story, it's crucial to consider multiple perspectives and evaluate the potential implications of Burnham's decision. We'll be keeping a close eye on how this unfolds and providing in-depth analysis in future episodes. We'll be right back with more of today's top news on Concrete Block. Welcome back to Concrete Block. We're diving into the world of international politics and defense, where NATO is gearing up for a crucial summit in Ankara. The meeting comes at a time when U.S. President Donald Trump is increasingly frustrated with the lack of support from European allies for his war against Iran. Trump has taken to social media to express his disappointment, stating that the relationship between the U.S. and NATO is not reciprocal and that it's ridiculous for the U.S. to continue its one-sided relationship with the alliance. As NATO leaders gather in Ankara, they'll be discussing ways to increase defense spending and production, with a focus on burden shifting rather than just burden sharing. This means that European countries will be under pressure to ramp up their own production of defense and security equipment, reducing their reliance on U.S. military kit. The EU's €800 billion SAFE program is aimed at achieving this goal, but it's an ambitious undertaking that will require significant investment and coordination. NATO's Secretary-General Mark Rutte has hinted that several lucrative arms deals will be signed on the sidelines of the summit, which could provide a boost to European defense industries. However, the Trump administration's plans to scale back its military presence in Europe have raised concerns about the impact on regional security. As the summit gets underway, all eyes will be on whether NATO can find a way to balance its commitment to collective defense with the demands of its most powerful member. The situation is complex, with multiple stakeholders and competing interests at play. While some argue that European countries need to take more responsibility for their own defense, others worry that a reduced U.S. presence could create a power vacuum that could be exploited by adversaries. As the debate unfolds, one thing is clear: the future of NATO and European security hangs in the balance. Welcome back to the Concrete Block. As we wrap up today's show, let's take a look at some stories that caught our attention. We've got a couple of interesting ones for you related to travel and gas prices. First off, despite higher gas prices and airfares, a record number of Americans are expected to travel over the July 4th weekend. According to AAA, around 72 million people will either fly or drive more than 50 miles from home. That's a significant number, and it just goes to show that people are eager to get out and celebrate the holiday with their loved ones. On a related note, if you're one of those travelers, you might be interested to know that Amazon is offering a discount on gas for its Prime members. For this weekend only, Prime members can save 50 cents per gallon on one fuel purchase at over 7,500 select gas stations across the country. To take advantage of this deal, you'll need to have an Amazon Prime membership and a free BP Earnify account, which you can link to your Prime membership. It's worth noting that while gas prices are still relatively high, they have come down somewhat in recent weeks. According to AAA, the national average is currently around $3.82 per gallon, down from a peak of $4.56 in May. So, if you're planning on hitting the road for the holiday weekend, you might be able to find some slightly better deals on gas. That's all for today's Concrete Block. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and until next time, stay informed.